you've got to find a way to get guys in here to build around what you have. Even if you're confident in what you have internally, you can always add, and they haven't done that.
Here we go. Noah Hiles, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, joining us to talk about the Pittsburgh Pirates. So let's hit the storylines with Noah. Top 4 storylines in our mind. A full season of Paul Skenes. He was ridiculously good. And he started his season obviously a little bit late because he was marinating in the minor leagues. Now you get a full season of Skenes. How's that going to look? Lineup, flat. Is it boosted with Spencer Horwitz and Tommy Pham? Is there enough on base for them to do more damage this year? What about the bullpen? David Bednar was kind of a mess last year, and they don't have big names. So can they get it together? And the theme in Pittsburgh, when you talk about the Pirates for the past, 15 years, please, Bob Nutting, sell the team. So let's start at the top here, Noah. Paul Skenes, full season. What do you think, and how much will they let him eat?
I think they're going to let him eat a lot. If you look at the way they built him up last year, he finished with about 160 total innings between the minor leagues and the majors. I think that puts him on track to throw close to 200 this year. I also think that they were pretty conservative with him, where they might let him eat a little bit more, take on a little bit more of a workload. But the big things with Skenes entering year 2, his first full season, to me, are one, I think we're going to get to see him pitch in a 5-day rotation now, where last year for the bulk of his time up in the majors, they were using a 6-man rotation, and that extra day of rest, yeah, that aided him a little bit, but that also kind of hurts the team because you want Paul Skenes to pitch as much as possible because he gives you a really good chance to win when he's on the mound. So getting him in a 5-man rotation will make the team better, I think, and it'll be a new challenge for Skenes to attack. And then I think the other thing you get from Skenes in a full year, with it being year 2, is he's going to be a leader for this team, something that I think the Pirates are missing a little bit. He was a rookie last year. He was willing to be a rookie. He knew his place. But now he looks around and he kind of sees the writing on the wall. I mean, this is his team, and I think that you're getting a guy who's going to make an impact more frequently because of him being able to pitch on 4 days rest now and make an impact in the clubhouse as a leader and kind of saying, hey, get on my back. I'm going to take you as far as I can.
Okay, I got to ask this because I saw what they did with Skenes last year. We all saw what they did. They kind of held him back. Well, now they have Skenes, they have Jared Jones, they have Mitch Keller. When's Bubba Chandler going to get there? Because you throw those 4 in the top of a rotation in that division before we get to the next storyline, which I'm asking about after you ask this one. But that's a pretty good foursome to start your rotation with. Are they going to baby Bubba Chandler the way they kind of did Paul Skenes? Or are they going to Jared Jones him and say, hey, you made the team out of spring, go get him?
I think it'll be something in the middle there. Jared Jones made the opening day roster last year because they didn't have a choice. I mean, if you look at this time last year, it's kind of ironic by the way things played out, but starting pitching was the biggest question mark for this team heading into spring training 2024. And they needed a guy to step up, and Jared just happened to be that guy. Where this year, I mean, you just named Skenes, Jones, Keller, and then you have Bailey Falter, Johan Oviedo. Those will probably be your 4 or 5. They don't necessarily need to rush Bubba Chandler into the starting rotation. I think if he has a great spring, he could earn a spot, but I think that this is a guy they probably still want to see make 5, 7 starts in AAA, get him built up where, come June, when he's firing on all cylinders, that's when we're going to see him make his debut. And it's also interesting with Chandler is he's not the only arm in AAA that can come up and give these guys a boost. I mean, you have Mike Burrows, who I could see getting time in both the bullpen as a starter, and then you have other top 100 prospects like Braxton Ashcraft, who's already on the 40-man roster, and Thomas Harrington, a guy who I think will come after Chandler, but could also be, a back-end rotation starter for a lot of years into the future. So they have options. I don't think they're going to rush Bubba, but I do think they're excited to get him up here because, like you said, I mean, that 1, 2, 3, 4, it's going to be special.
Agreed. I mean, if I'm the Pirates and I'm the Pirates fans, I want him there now because I want him to learn from Skenes and from the big leaguers that they have there, Jared Jones. So, listen, they know more than me, so we're just going to go with that. Now, offensively, what are they going to do offensively? Because they didn't really – I mean, yes, McCutchen coming back is cool and Horowitz coming over from Toronto, but who's going to hit? I mean, their big moves last year were IKF and De La Cruz. De La Cruz they fired into orbit, and IKF is going to be their starting shortstop. No offense to IKF, but he's not known for his bat. So who's going to hit for the Pirates?
That's a big question, and I think the answer, if it's going to be a good answer that the Pirates are hoping for, it's going to come from internal improvement. There's a lot of guys who are coming off of a really bad season last year for one reason or another. You look at Brian Hayes, a guy who is one of the best fielders at his position, if not the sport, but has trouble staying healthy. And in 2023, when we saw him at full health in the second half of the season, that bat looked better than it ever did. But we never saw that bat in 2024 because he had a lot of health concerns and issues. And if he can stay healthy, then they get some more offense at third base. You move around the diamond, you look out in the outfield, actually. Jack Sawinski was a guy that they depended on for a lot of power last year, and he didn't give him much. He was coming off of back-to-back 20-plus home run seasons. I think he only had 9 last year. He got sent down to AAA multiple times and finished the season in AAA. He's a huge question mark. They're going to need him to really step up because if you look around the lineup, yeah, they added some on base with Spencer Horwitz, who I think will, give them a nice little top of the lineup presence that they were missing in the leadoff spot. But they're really lacking slug here. And you would hope that O'Neal Cruz gives you a little bit more in his second full big league season. You're going to get what you normally get from Brian Reynolds. McCutcheon's going to give you something. Joey Bart, maybe a full season of him can give you a little bit more. But guys like Sawinski, guys like Henry Davis, figuring it out at the major league level, guys like Brian Hayes, they're all going to have to rebound after very poor showings in 2024 if this lineup hopes to produce enough runs to make a push for the postseason.
Back-to-back All-Stars in 22 and 23. Bednar came in looking like 2024 was just going to be another All-Star season, solidified closer role. His ERA was 5.77, which an ERA, whatever. His whip was almost up 40%. Is there bounce back in him? Is there something in the metrics that we don't know that's like, ooh, he's going to solidify this closer role again?
I don't know if it's in the metrics. If you look through, the metrics weren't pretty last year, but I think it's just the story of David Bednar's 2024. It was kind of everything that could have went wrong. He had a very limited spring because of injuries. I think he only threw twice in a game. I'm not sure why when they didn't give him a rehab assignment. They just put him on the opening day roster, and they immediately threw him into leverage situations in the first month of the season, despite having little to no buildup throughout spring. And it showed. He was rusty. And then he found a rhythm. If you look in late April, May, June, he saved, I think, 19 straight. He converted 19 straight save opportunities. And it looked like the guy that we were more familiar with. But then another injury hit, and he never found his footing. I think injuries led to this guy experiencing some major inconsistencies, the first of which he's experienced since he's become, that all-star caliber player that we know him to be. And I think it hit his psyche a little bit. The command really struggled. And I think the key for him is coming into Bradenton. They report Wednesday, and he needs to have a really good spring training. He needs to lay that foundation to get off to a good start. He needs to prove that 2024 was just a fluke, and this is still, an above-average reliever who, for the last couple of seasons prior to 2024, was among the best closers in baseball.
Okay. Now let's get to the real storyline of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
All right.
Bob Nutting in the payroll. When's he going to spend money? This is the time. You look at their pitching rotation. We talked about it. They got some back-end guys that they like, right? And if you look at their top 4, again, Skenes, Chandler when he gets there, Jared Jones, and Mitch Keller, and then whoever that 5th guy is, right? That's a pretty good baseline to start off of. Then you look at their bullpen. Bednar comes back. The rest of their bullpen, they found some pieces in the back end of the bullpen. But then you have the offense. When are they going to spend the money? Because this tweet came out this weekend. I'm going to read it to you. I don't know if we have it to show, but here it is. December 2016 was the last time the Pittsburgh Pirates signed a free agent to a multi-year contract. That means it's going to be 10 years. 10 years, because 25 is basically done. They ain't signing anybody this year. So it's going to go from 10 years that they have not signed a free agent to a what the holy bleep are they doing? They got to sign somebody at some point. I know they're making money, and their Pittsburgh fans are, they are loyal to a fault. But what the bleep are they doing, and how is this possible?
I don't know. It's something that we ask quite regularly. It's something that I thought that streak would come to an end this offseason. Personally, I wrote about it numerous times throughout the offseason. If you look at the market for positions that they really needed, corner, outfield, first base, I thought there were a lot of guys they could have either acquired via trade or signed through free agency that would have made an impact. You look at the last time this team was competitive. Yeah, it came with a crop or a big wave of prospects coming up. Your McCutchens, your Garrett Coles, your Starling Martes. But that was also matched with some multi-year free agent signings. A.J. Burnett, Russell Martin. Those guys were as big as an impact as all the other prospects that came up. And yeah, they weren't here as long, but you need that veteran presence, guys who have done it before and who are still capable of doing it in the present day to mix with that clubhouse. And they haven't really added that. It's always been 1-year contracts. Right now, the payroll is slated to be lower than last year, which surprises me because I agree with you, AJ. I mean, this is the time to invest. You only have so many more years of Paul Skenes for cheap, Jared Jones for cheap. This is the time to start building around these guys. And while, yeah, they have invested in internal extensions with Hayes, with Reynolds, with Keller, that's just not enough. You've got to find a way to get guys in here to build around what you have. Even if you're confident in what you have internally, you can always add. And they haven't done that. And it's a big question. I don't know if guys are reluctant to play here. I don't know. And if that's the case, then maybe you got to pay a little bit more money. But they've got to do something moving forward because, yeah, I think they owe it to this group of players and they owe it to the fans to put forth a little bit more of a presence in the free agent market.
No, I can state this as a fact. Players want to play in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
They enjoy the ballpark location. I'm generalizing, but there are some places where players are like, you're going to have to pay me more to go there. Pittsburgh's not one of them. I think the problem is the phone call goes, hey, we've got a 1-year offer for you. And they go, okay, yeah, cool. Well, the rest of my offers are 3 or 4, right? So my question is, do you remember 5 or 6 years ago when the tank/rebuild began? Ben Cherington took over. I think it's been 6 years now since Cherington and some of the things that were said and how they haven't lived up to the accountability there, where it was, okay, we're going to tank. We're going to start from scratch. I think the bar is so low in Pittsburgh that they're okay with that. As long as they said, okay, this is the time when we compete. We're going to up the payroll by like $20-30 million, which in baseball terms is absolute pebbles for any team, any of the 30 teams. Otherwise, you should not own a ball club, right? The Pirates are always in the bottom 5 really of payroll, and they're causing a lot of these payroll disparity concerns in baseball. So my question for you is, what is the excuse right now from the front office to try and protect the owner when we've gotten to this point? The front office has done a nice job with some young talent, but they just refuse to play ball.
There haven't been many excuses. I mean, they've been asked numerous times, why hasn't there been a multi-year free agent signing? And their comment is it hasn't been from a lack of trying. So they say they're trying. And and what can you respond to that? Like, well, how hard are you trying? I don't know. It is puzzling because you look, there are bones of a good baseball team here, I think. I mean, you look at this rotation, and if you're an impact bat and you think, okay, with a little bit more lineup protection, guys like Reynolds, guys like Cruz, they could be even more dangerous. And they are a couple pieces away, but for one reason or another, there just haven't been those pieces arriving yet. And I guess it's maybe the front office is really into what they think is right. They have a lot of self-belief, but it's got to a point now where they're entering spring training looking to prove to everyone that they were right and everyone else is wrong, that they didn't need help. And I still even think that that's maybe not the best outlook because, everyone needs help. Everyone can always get better. And there just hasn't been enough addition externally.
Well, our other team we're previewing today is the Mariners, and their GM came out and said we have a World Series winning team. So maybe the Pirates feel that way. All right, I got to ask you one more before you go, Noah. I see behind you. You're obviously a Steelers fan, right? You're a Pittsburgh guy, right?
Yes.
Steelers fan. So would you rather have Mike Tomlin, who goes 9-7, 9-8, 10-7, loses in the first round every year, or the Pirates, who are in a constant rebuild?
I mean, as far as coverage wise, I'd like to cover a team that's always in the playoffs because that's just better for my career, I guess. And I also just think that it's for the Steelers, the expectations are just so much different. I mean, I've lived in Pittsburgh my whole life. I turn 30 next month. I've been alive for 4 Pirates winning seasons. They haven't won a playoff series in my lifetime. So the bar is just so much lower, whereas the Steelers, every year you're expected to win the Super Bowl. So going 10-7 and losing in the first round, for a lot of organizations throughout all of sports, they would take consistency in getting into the playoffs, even if it meant an early exit. But the Steelers, they have a higher bar. Whereas the Pirates fans, they just want a winning record. They want to be able to, watch the team in September and those games to mean something. It's been a while since that's been the case here. It hasn't happened once in this regime, and we're entering year 6. So if I were to pick, I would pick that for the Pirates simply because it shows progress. It shows a reason for people to remain invested in this team once the Steelers report to training camp, which has been a struggle for them to remain the talk of the town once, the big dog gets its season going.
Yeah, I don't even think they're in the same stratosphere. I mean, the Steelers have been Super Bowl champs during your lifetime. You haven't even seen the playoff series win with the Pirates. Yeah, so
they did win that one wild card game, or Johnny Cueto.
Yes, they did.
Not a series. Not a series.
No, I'm just saying they won that one wild card game. The Twins counted, so the Pirates can count it too.
Okay, fine. We'll count it. It's still misery. So, Noah, thank you for the time. Appreciate it. Hoping that this team takes the next step, but we'll see what happens.
Hey, guys, thanks for having me on.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.